Okay, so this is the
I'm not that neat.
MIT crowd attending class in green school.
We were, the school was founded by a Canadian-American couple named John and Cynthia Hardy. John came to Bali in the mid-70s. He graduated from art school in Ontario, wanted to get as far away from Canada and frigid winters as he possibly could. Wandered through Southeast Asia for some time, found his way to Bali, felt that he had discovered his rightful place in the world, and basically 35 years later, still here. Cynthia came in the early 80s. She was going around the world for a year before heading to Berkeley Law School. Got to Bali, decided that law school could wait for a year, and that was 30 years ago. In the late 80s or so, John and Cynthia got together and formed a personal and professional partnership. And they started a jewelry company in their kitchen. They were living in a little house without running water and had two guys in their kitchen helping them polish silver bracelets. 20 years later, they had become, through hard work and probably some very savvy marketing, a couple of lucky breaks, they've become one of the largest private employers in Bali. Workshop with 900 employees, another 200 people in Thailand working with/for them. And their jewelry was being sold at places like Bloomingdale's and Lane Crawford and Harrods and Neiman Marcus and David Jones and Cartier. It became a very successful international luxury brand. About 4 or 5 years ago, they began the process of selling their shares in the company. The company is still called John Hardy Jewelry. He sold his name. They got out before the economic crisis and decided to take some of the proceeds from the sale of the business and put it into a give back to Bali that reflected some of their values, some of their interest in sustainability. For those of you who saw the TED Talk, and I think John starts most of his talks this way, his opening line is, Al Gore ruined my life, which is a great line. And he says, you know, I'm 61 years old and I should be on the golf course right now. But anyway, in fact, they've been doing sustainability projects at the jewelry company for a long time. And so anyway, it's good. It's a good line. But in the meantime, John and Cynthia had 2 daughters of their own, and they weren't particularly inspired by existing international school choices in Bali. And so they took some of the proceeds from the sale of the business and put it into green school, something that, again, reflected some of their values, a school their daughters could attend. And the school is set up as a nonprofit foundation. We're a yayasan here in Indonesia. In the States, we actually have how many American citizens here today? A few of you? Yeah, so we have 501c3, not-for-profit status. Americans can give us tax-deductible donations. No. For all of our talk about sustainability, we are not yet at a point of financial viability. That's one reason we passed the hat for these tours. And so John and Cynthia still subsidize the school. And the twist on the story that a lot of people aren't aware of, and to me it's probably the most interesting part of it all, is that they wanted to build the school using bamboo, using natural materials, and to create not just little bamboo shacks, but really beautiful, inspiring, architecturally innovative, significant structures. And looking around Bali, they discovered 4 or 5 years ago that there was no company here capable of doing the kinds of things they wanted to do. John Hardy, essentially, he's a very creative, very high energy, kind of a force of nature kind of guy. And John said, well, if that company doesn't exist, I'm going to go ahead and start the company. And the school, the campus is bisected by the Ayung River. There was a beautiful, we won't go down to it, but I'll show it to you. And right across the river from the campus, John co-founded a bamboo design and construction company. And that company's first job and their main job for the 3 years they existed was designing, building, and furnishing green school. So all these structures, this beautiful furniture you're sitting at, that crazy contraption over there, which I'll explain in a moment, all comes from a very talented, creative group of architects and designers from all over the world, all over Indonesia. A little bit of a long story, that initial company no longer exists. They have restructured and come out as a separate company. The first company actually lost a lot of money on this job because they gave us too good of a price, and they had budget. This probably shouldn't be on video. Oh, what the heck? There were budget overruns. There were time delays. They had to turn down paid business because they didn't have enough capacity to do more than this project. And so they, as generally happens to companies that lose money, they went out of business and came out the other side as a different company. Both those companies get to use the school, though, as a design studio. We've been their guinea pig, their test case, and they also get to use us as a showcase. And again, lots of media coverage, lots of attention from the architecture design community around the world. So at some point, they deserve to make money on bamboo because they're doing really beautiful things. Hopefully, you'll agree with a material that's very environmentally friendly. So. Of course, for our part, the school, we never could have been built in 3 years, and in such a beautiful, aesthetically beautiful manner had we not had a direct connection to the supplier company. So that's a little bit about how we came to be. Okay.